We are taking a very quick break away from the workshop and I'm on a Cornish adventure. I'm in Cornwall on my way down to see Jeff Moss to spend some time with him. I've got some presents for him in the van, and I realised that Monty's classic motorbike shop is literally about 15 miles away, if that. He's been so helpful with knowledge and advice and obviously parts for the Triumph Tiger 350 project that we're working on. A lot of the engine bits, a lot of help and guidance, we'll say, and I need a lot of parts and bearings and seals and everything else to put it all back together, and hopefully he's got everything in stock. I'm going to get a big bag, fill it up with a load of engine parts. Let's get inside, see if we can find them. Front forks. I bought 4 different sets.
Yeah.
Because I kept going and ordering the wrong one because I didn't know what I had.
Yeah.
First set I ordered from you, fitted perfectly.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like to talk to people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and there's a lot of people that don't like that. They want to email and they want to list and that. Do the list, they got a 19 whatever it is bike, and they do the list and they send it off, and they email again, oh, this is all wrong and that's all wrong. Of course, it's all my fault, isn't it?
Yeah, and they sent you the list. But yeah. So just give you a call, is what you say? Yeah. It's the best way to get hold of you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And also, I like helping people as well. So if people have got a problem, clutches,
ignition,
whatever, ring me up and I'll
that's very sweet.
Help them with the phone.
Yeah. Well, you've been so helpful to me, so thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Well,
thank you.
Really enjoyable.
Perfect
thing that you're doing, and I'll be watching.
Yeah.
Glued to the screen.
Very good.
Looking forward to mistakes.
Welcome back to the workshop, and thank you for joining us again. Unfortunately, John is not with us this week. I haven't even got Wendy here. I'm on my own completely. I'm going to carry on with progress on the Tiger project because I'm determined to keep momentum up. Another episode of me doing all the fiddly jobs that I don't want to do when John's here because we want to do the engine, basically. But the first thing I want to do is look at the oil tank, because there's all well and good me cleaning up all these engine parts and making everything inside the engine pristine, but the oil from the engine gets pumped through a hose out to a tank which is sort of remote and separate, and it is filthy. I've taken it outside, pressure washed it, tried to clean it the best I can, but now I've got some drain cleaner that I'm going to soak it in and hope to break down the oil and the slime inside. I think we're going to need a few more of those. Oh, the sludge is starting to come out. Let's see what this does. Put it all in there. I've left my concoction overnight and come in this morning and look at it. This is what I used, by the way. Drain cleaner. What have I got on my face already? It seems to have worked to break down the grease. Look at it in there. There's a lot of sludgy grease in there. I'm going to put that in a container and dispose of it sensibly. And I'll do that again. But this time, we're going to try caustic soda. I've got this from B&Q. Dissolve that in some water. It gets hot, warms up, and again, the attempt I'm trying to do is break down the grease. So I'm going to set up a few little sort of baths of caustic soda and soak all of the engine parts, the cams, the rods, anything that's covered in horrible burnt on grease is going to get a caustic soda bath. Hopefully that's going to break up the grease, so then I can give them a clean and a polish. We'll have a table full of pristine engine parts that we can put back together. John will be pleased, I hope anyway. Well, as you all know, every day is a school day, and I've already learnt something new. Apparently, aluminium parts, no good in caustic soda. All the steel parts, the cams, the rods, the springs. This is the rocker box, and the intake manifold for the carburetor, also aluminium. As soon as that goes in there, it starts fizzing. I have a terrible feeling that my engine parts are dissolving in front of me, so I better fish those aluminium pieces out and just stick to steel parts in the caustic soda. Learn from me. Don't do this. Well, cleaning is going very, very well. Caustic soda works brilliantly. Very good at sort of breaking down and degrading the oil. Not good with aluminium. Although I will say, it's actually cleaned up the rocker box really quite nicely. It looks really good. Rocker boxes, inlet manifold. I'm going through all the little components, the push rods, all the bits, cleaning everything. I've measured the journals in the crank and they're standard and within standard spec. So I've got new standard bearings ordered. They've just literally just turned up with some new small ends as well. So this is the small end where the piston would go. I'm going to replace those because these don't look that great. And that is going to mean going to the lathe, making a little tool to push the old ones out. It's just a piece of brass that's got like a little step at the end so I can locate inside the bush, but the outer diameter of it is no bigger than the bush, ever so slightly smaller. So it should be able to put it in the press and push it out nicely, and then push the new ones in. But they've also got an oil slot, like a slot cut in them for the oil, so we might have to end up going on the mill and using like a slitting disc to kind of cut through the top of the rod into the bush. I'll show you that later though.
Tearing me down, kicking me out, keeping me around. There's nothing wrong with not having a clue, and there's nothing wrong with the things we do. The things we do.
Well, pressing in the new small end bushes went very, very well. I'll put that tool in the drawer, keep that for whenever the engine blows up in the future. No, let's not jinx it. As you saw last week with John, we left the case in half and measuring up that journal and realising that is scored and worn and the bush is worn. I could not get hold of one anywhere. I got hold of one, the right size, so like an undersized one, to allow for the crank to be reground. But then I had to try and find somebody to do the crank, and it's, oh man, it's such a journey to try and find the right people that you trust with all of these parts. But I've got to say a big thank you to AP Cars, Alan at AP Cars down in Kent. He's been awesome, absolutely brilliant. He's bored out the barrels for me for the oversized pistons, and he's got the crate case and crank now. I dropped them off there the other day. He's going to grind the crank down and then ream and hone the bush once it's pressed into the case to just the right size, so we're good to go. It's got a good sign that they've got this having its engine rebuilt at the moment. It's quite reassuring.
When you look at it, the bush inside the bush course was 1.422 and the diameter of the crank was 1.36, so there was 14 foot to come off of it, but I knew I needed to own a little bit out of that first, which I did, so I ended up taking about 10 foot off the crank. Yeah. If we have to do it a dozen times, that's fine.
It's such a critical measurement, isn't it?
Like now, look, it just fits a lot better, even with that little bit out.
Is that supposed to be not running true?
Or it still, this just follows the old. I'm going to take it just around the other way now, in case.
This red machine is a honing tool. That machine there is actually taking tiny amounts off of the bush every time. This is the third time we've done it, on and off, just trying tiny amounts. Not really measurable amounts, but just tiny little bits. Then we'll put it back together, try it, and just until the crank is spinning nicely in the bearing, basically. We're getting there. Third time lucky.
Well, I think I've already had 10 goes before you do. But look how nice it sits on
Yeah,
there.
worryingly. Yeah.
Keep reversing it, so if it's just taking more out one end, we kind of neutralise that by reversing it. Went straight into an engine shop.
At 15?
Yeah, at 17.
What, as an apprentice was that?
It was a job.
Straight into a job, that's it.
Straight into a job. There was a very clever guy that he took me under his wing. He said, "Can't get people like you that want to learn." Even then, you wouldn't believe it, then. He took me under his wing, and we had brake drum lathes, doing all the commercial brake drums, free crank grinders, cam grinders, boring bars, and he showed me everything. All the Volkswagen Comrods.
Yeah.
He used to get 300 at the time, air-cooled.
Air-cooled
I
stuff.
used to have to fit the bushes, drill the hole,
Oh my
hone them
goodness.
the size, and then they would bring the crankshafts, start to grind the crankshafts, me and a team of people.
Oh, brilliant.
But
Well, I've got a camper van. When that goes wrong, I know where to come now.
Yeah.
After all these years, you still enjoy it?
Yeah, I do.
What a machine that is. Dear me.
Yeah, old girl. I had 2 more of them till recently. I only sold them recently.
2 more of them, really?
Yeah, I just had them in storage.
Is this the sort of machine you can't get new anymore?
You can't buy that. They're offset grinders mainly. So where you set this up, this will follow the big end round, a bit like a home, like that, and grind as it goes round.
Oh, will it?
On these, so it does this.
What an awesome workshop they've got at AP Cars there. If you ever need any machining done, any engine work, I can't recommend them enough. Me being as impatient as I am, they literally dropped everything. I was like, yeah, bring it down. We'll do it tomorrow, straight away. We'll get straight on it. So they've been really, really helpful. And I'm very pleased to say it's done. The crank is now in the cases. They're bolted up nice and tight. We've checked the sort of end float essentially. It spins nice. It's all good. That is looking really good. The small ends are done. They'd used a little cutting disc from a Dremel, sort of put a little bolt through the middle of it, put it in the chuck, and then used that to kind of slit and cut inside to cut the bush. That's done. The gudgeon pins now fit really nicely through through that bush. So the rods are done. The case is done. We're looking good. All I need is a John here because he has forbidden me to put any of this together. So I guess really I'm going to carry on cleaning bits. I quite fancy just sitting down and sort of just lapping the valves and getting those all built, because then I could have the whole head built as one unit. Maybe I'll do that. Basically, all I'm doing here is using a grinding paste. It's almost, imagine like the grit from sandpaper in a paste. I'm just putting a tiny smear of that around the edge of the valve, just to make that surface between the valve and the head, the valve seat. Make sure it's contacting all the way around. And you can tell because you get like a witness mark, you can see like a lighter strip around. Then once you've got that all the way around with no pitting or no scores or bits missing, any low spots, because anywhere there's a low spot, it's potentially a leak. I need to do this for all of the valves. I'm replacing all of them. I've got all 4 brand new valves. And so I just need to sit and do this for every single one. This is actually a good time to tell you, anybody in the UK, this Monday, the 27th of November, 4:30 BBC One, the second series of Make It at Market is out. We filmed it earlier in the year, in the summer.
10 years ago, I quit my full-time job and started my own set design business.
Now, in these inspiring artistic gardens, I've assembled a team of successful professional craftspeople
I know your talent and I know what you're capable of doing.
to help talented amateurs turn their hobbies and skills into full-time jobs. There's 15 episodes, 30 different craftspeople, new crafts this year. There's some really good ones. Stained glass, for example, we didn't have last year. And I'm very proud of it and very proud of all of the makers on the show. Everyone's worked so hard to do what they do. And it would be much appreciated if you could watch it, basically, because I want to do it again.
I've made £6,300.
Can we change places?
Yeah.
And create dream businesses.
It's like I'm talking about somebody else. It's been life-changing.
So we can help another 30 craftspeople next year. But the only way that's going to happen is if we get good viewing figures. So spread the word. I don't care if you don't watch it, just put the telly on. Just have the telly on in the background. So, you know, we just need the viewing figures. This is going to take me hours. I'll put the springs on and we'll have the head done. Now I've got the parts from Monty. We've got the machine parts from Alan. We're in a good place. So next week's episode, finally, we will be putting this engine back together. Make sure you've subscribed and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.